Boatbuilding News, the podcast. Let's do it. Welcome to Boatbuilding News, the podcast, a series of engaging interviews with key individuals from within the marine industry. I'm excited. This is going to be epic. I am so excited to welcome Dennis de Roos to the Boatbuilding News podcast and hear how Greta Thunberg inspired his change of career direction. Hi Dennis, welcome to the Boatbuilding News podcast.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. It's great to be here and nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure. So diving straight in, so you're quite a key figure in the marine industry and so many people know you for being a key figure at Fairline. But I'd really love to hear who Dennis de Roos is now and what role you play in the industry now.
Yeah, thank you for asking the question. It's a key figure. I'm a bit humbled by that because I just do what I love and I got a passion for it. But so Fairline was great, obviously, and really enjoyed my time there. But I now have my own business called Roos Strategic Partners. And it's a business that helps startup companies to succeed. And really for them to have somebody that they can help with them on a kind of occasional basis, on a 2-3 day week, or on a kind of consultancy level to help them to fulfill their commercial kind of strategy, commercial tactics, and things like that. So really helping the new startups succeeding. And it's something that is really fun to do. But also, I feel like I can add a lot more value as well.
Yeah, sure. So there are sort of, I know from doing a bit of research and from seeing you on social media a fair bit recently, what two sort of key companies are you working with at the moment?
So my focus is really mostly on the sustainability side of the marine industry. So really focusing on electric and hybrid propulsion. So companies that are coming through with new innovation and new technology, and sometimes some great new boat designs. So the companies that I'm currently working with are like Elva Yachts from Germany, Myla Yachts from Germany, and I also do a little bit of work for a company called Skyer Yachts from Indonesia, which is always it's one of the companies.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise about that third one.
Yeah, in the beginning as well. But I also attend quite a few forums and panels and things like that to really promote sustainability in the boating industry, and it's great fun. Yeah,
sure. So, I mean, from an outsider in, obviously you took quite a leap of faith from leaving quite a sort of a stable role with, a big name. So what prompted that decision? What was the sort of thinking behind that?
Yeah, so I was in the position, and Fairline is a great company and great people, and I really enjoyed my time there. But there was a point whereby it was just when COVID started, and the whole world was upside down. And
was it just?
What do I want to do? What want to do next? And I thought, maybe this is the time to get out from a paid position and start my own business and to kind of follow some of the dreams that I have to help businesses grow, but also be more sustainable. And all this kind of really started. There was a march by Greta Thunberg in Bristol, where I live.
Okay.
I took my kids over there and with their friends, and I was chaperoning them and everything. And I was standing there with them, and I was kind of thinking, well, I'm standing here to promote climate change and all that kind of thing, and trying to support my offspring. But at the same time, I'm building, big diesel engine and big plastic boats and things like that, which are not really sustainable. And I thought, maybe this is a bit hypocritical. And that really kind of sparked an interest in me to say, okay, I want to make a change. Which was a big decision, of course, because, like I said, I was in a very strong position, and I enjoyed working with my colleagues in a great company. But that really was a catalyst for me to say, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own. So I left my job and I handed in my notice, and I had pretty much nothing. I had a laptop and a dream, I think was where I was. And when I started in December 2020, I literally just went out to my network and talked to people and explained what I was hoping to do. And I was very fortunate to find some fantastic companies who could really use my support. And together we've become partners, we've become friends, and I really feel that I've been able to make a positive change, particularly promoting the sustainability. Because, we only have one world, and we have to make something out of it that our children can enjoy in the future as well. I love boating, I grew up in a family of boating, and I grew up on a shipyard in Holland. And for me, this was really an obvious thing to do. And I was very, very fortunate that my wife was supportive, because without her, I couldn't have done it. And financially, of course.
I was going to say, because it's such a brave decision to sort of put almost your morals and your beliefs and your sort of your sustainability before what looks like maybe even career, money, and sort of the safety net of having that paid job.
Yeah, indeed. And I've been in a paid job for like 28 years. So, it was a huge decision. Yeah. But I think something with the COVID time sparked quite a bit of creativity and ideas. And for me, that was definitely a change as well. So it was very scary, because I had a mortgage, I've got a kid to look after, I've got a house, I've got a wife, I've got all the things. But with the support of my family, they said, go for it. They believed in what could be done. And fortunately, with hard work and determination, I've made it happen. And now I've got a great company, got great clients, which really are my friends. And I feel like, I'm part of a position in the boating industry that is making a positive change. And so for me, it's a little bit of a greater cause as well. I'm not too much about chanting about it or that kind of thing, and I'm quite humble about what can be achieved. But it shows with the right determination and very hard work, you can achieve amazing things.
Yeah, it must be quite fulfilling to know that, what you're doing isn't going against the sustainability pledge, because, there are many companies in yachting, or any luxury sort of lifestyle industry where that wouldn't, sustainability wouldn't be at the forefront. It would be extravagance and being bigger and being better and being faster. So it must feel quite fulfilling at the end of the day when you know that you're achieving all those things, but you're also sort of really committing to your sustainability pledge as well.
Yeah, and look, you got to start somewhere, right? Come before being in the marine industry, I was in the automotive industry, promoting electric vehicles and things like that. So I've been in the kind of sustainability side beforehand already as well. But using that skill then into the marine industry is very strong. And we're still a long way off. We're only beginning this. And, talking about sustainability, we still make, we make composite hulls and things like that. And we still have hybrid systems rather than fully electric. And where does the electric come from? So there's a lot of questions we still have to answer. But we can see where things are going to the world. And also, we only have one world, so we do need to save the thing. And there's a real, if as an industry we get together and we combine our efforts for the better, I think we all will benefit. And particularly our customers will benefit as well. Because a lot of customers, they are already promoting sustainability in their businesses, and now they're looking for sustainability in their private life while boating to feel, it's an ethical way of enjoying themselves.
But as an industry, it's quite common knowledge, especially from within the industry, that we are quite behind other industries. You've already mentioned automotive, for instance. We feel quite behind. But why do you think that is? Well,
there's a large investment required to make a boat and the mold tools and all the systems on board. And of course, those items need to have a return on investment. And I totally get that. And this is probably why some of the new kind of entrants into the market have a faster track, because they make boats specifically to be electric propulsion, like Alva Yachts, Myla, etc. it does take time. It does take a big investment. Mostly also the customers, they need to want to make that change as well, because it's what we know is a status quo. But this is the whole thing: is that what is great fun is to challenge that status quo, and this is exactly what I'm trying to do with my business. And these new companies coming in, it's great to help them from a C-suite level. But maybe on a reduced basis of a day or a couple of days or a week or whatever, to help them to succeed and to give them that kind of good management feedback. And it's great. I mean, look at Alva Yachts. We started that business the business itself was started, of course, already in 2013, but 2019 they rebranded as Alva Yachts, and I started with them in late 2020, and we are a company that had a dream again. Now we're an established business with a great forward order book until somewhere in 2025, and really making a change in the industry. So it just shows what can be done in quite a short time with the willpower. And a fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant for these startup companies because they get access to your years of experience and expertise, but like you say, you're not there full time. So actually, from an affordability, they get access to some of the sort of key advice you can give them without having to employ you full time. And it means that you can have your input into various companies at the same time as well.
Yeah, and it's exactly. I offer a lot more value that way. And I can really help from a strategic perspective, but I also can help them from a tactical perspective. So I would, I'm physically selling the boats, for example, and creating that order book, building a dealer network, making sure that all the legals are in place and the right structure is in place, and learn from the user experience that I have. So for me, it's also hugely rewarding because I can see things progressing. And I feel that I can add so much more value, and also from a personal perspective, it's more fulfilling as well, because it's something that's really rewarding. And at the same time, I can also try to get a little bit of a better balance between work and private life, because I run my own business. And I can decide, of course, when I do what, but. Recently we had the big boat show season, and I'm a little bit broken after traveling for more than 2.5 months through Cannes and Monaco and just Fort Lauderdale, etc. There's a lot to do, but it's great fun to be there and have multiple clients that you can look after, because it's a lot more fulfilling for me in that sense. And now also looking to grow my business, to recruit some more people. To maintain that that level of interest, but you can see from customers there's a huge interest in electric propulsion and a more sustainable way to go boating, and we've definitely seen that.
There really isn't there, at the moment?
Yeah, and the other brand that I look after, of course, is a key brand is Myla Yachts. They make a beautiful powerboat, electric hybrid powerboat. Has an amazing, 17 knot potential top speed, and also has one of the first electric boat to be able to cruise at about 30 knots for more than 270 nautical miles, which is an amazing statistic. Wow. So a real true alternative to current day boats, and this is really catching people's hearts. And we've been promoting this boat in Cannes and now in Fort Lauderdale, and building the dealer network, etc. And this is a hugely exciting, that you can really have a lot of fun on the water, but you don't have to use all that diesel to do it, and still have that performance.
That's the thing, isn't it? And the education, I think the message is starting to get through, because I myself, I didn't realise the actual range you could get on an electric boat. So for me, I always saw the barrier to electric boating was, is the infrastructure there to charge them, and can you only travel a short distance before you need to charge? But that's actually not the case. Like some of these models that are coming through now, like you say, 270 nautical miles. You'd probably be hard pushed to find a boater that needs to travel further than that without charging. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I mean, you're still using a large range extender, like a generator on board, in order to achieve these numbers. So it's not fully electric from that kind of range. But let's say, using purely electric, that boat will still be able to do something like 17 nautical miles on pure electric at a decent speed. So, it's a real usable boat. And next to it, it's a great design, and the guys behind it are fantastic. And it's and we're using lightweight technology, so the boat is fully made from carbon fiber rather than a composite or something like that. So very light, and so it's just thinking differently of how we can go onto the water and have that performance, have that enjoyment, but reducing our footprint, our carbon footprint. And I think that is something that's really important. And I know there's companies already developing new technologies for hulls, for composite, something to replace the composite hulls that we're making at the moment, etc. So really excited to kind of see those new technologies come through and being accepted into the market. But we're too conservative. I think in Europe we're having been in all three continents, promoting these businesses. Europe, we're quite ahead, I think. When you look at the States, it's still fairly conservative. Still a lot of big V8s and V12 engines and outboards and all that kind of stuff. And there's definitely going to be a place for that in the future still for particular purposes. But the customers that I'm dealing with, they wouldn't consider those boats. But they would consider something more like an electric hybrid type propulsion. And these are new boats just coming into the market.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming to the point as well, I think, where it's not a choice. Like, it's essential for people to start considering these options. I mean, if you put it into, I know that not everyone's a boater, but if you put it into purchasing a car, only maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it would have felt like a nice to have if it was electric. But now purchasing a car, it's almost essential to consider that electric option, isn't it? We've moved a long time, in the last sort of 3 years when it comes to our view on sustainability. It's not, let's worry about that in the future. It's a problem that we need to seriously consider and seriously implement change in the here and now.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, the automotive side is very much driven by regulation from governments that by a certain year we need to all drive electric. In boating, we don't have that yet, and it's mostly driven by consumers.
Yeah, do you think that's coming?
Yeah, actually very much so. So there's already regions right now in Europe which are becoming only accessible if you're electric propulsion. Come in the kind of the Norwegian sides and the fjords, it has to be electric. I think in Sardinia there are some areas now where you have to be electric to come through. And there's recently was a really interesting article in Mallorca whereby they are now promoting the change to go electric, and that all charter boats by 2030 would need to be, or new ones would need to be electric. So can you imagine all the thousands of charter boats that are currently being used that would need to be changed eventually to have an electric propulsion? So this is not if it's going to happen. It's definitely it's when it's going to happen, and how can manufacturers embrace that change. The biggest challenge, I think, for manufacturers is that we've all been competing with each other between the brands, and of course that's very healthy. But if we're going to gain our time in innovation, we need to work together as companies to find that technology that we can use together. Because the more we can put our resources together, the quicker we can make the change, and the better it will be for all of us. And I think that's for me will be the big message.
Yeah, because I mean, when things are new and people are sort of stepping into these new realms of technology, everyone is going to come against unforeseen problems. And I think if everyone's coming up against different problems and finding solutions, if you came together collectively to share that, you can almost fast track some of the other companies, because they will already have those problems to those solutions that they've, do you know what I mean? They already have those solutions to those problems, that they haven't envisaged that they'd meet yet.
Yeah, and I was at the Monaco Sustainability Forum this year in July, and that was very much that message that was kind of portrayed by quite a few of the kind of customers and industry professionals that we need to work more together. Now, we're always going to be seeking competitive advantage and having new technologies and things.
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
But from a core element of how we do it and how we can propose to customers, I think the more we can work together as a marine society, and maybe what I'm calling on is kind of marine societies in particular countries all work together towards this cause. I think we can make inroads much faster, and also open our customers' eyes to this possibility. I would say from the companies I work with at the moment and the sales we've done, a large proportion are new customers coming into the market who've been waiting for technology like this before they buy something. The next step is...
Okay, so actually holding off. So that's not that they've had boats before. A lot of them are holding off for this moment to buy one.
These are first-time buyers, and they're buying, 60-foot plus Alvas and other boats, because this is what they've been waiting for. And this has been a journey for them of years of looking at what the alternatives are. Because people are now looking for some sort of sanctuary on the water where they can enjoy time with their family, where they can travel long distances and fulfill their dreams. But they want to do it in a sustainable way. They would never consider having large engines and burning thousands of liters of diesel is the right way to go. So, and these are even younger people as well. We're talking people in their 30s and 40s who are in that position. And we see a lot of people who are now looking to sell their businesses, who come to a point they want to spend more time with the family. They're looking for like a home on the water, but something they don't need to go fast, but they want to go sustainable. And that's a real trend. Yeah. That's just constantly kind of increasing every day. And
and that's welcome, isn't it? It's such a welcome change. And it doesn't surprise me when you say that it's the younger clientele, because I think that a younger generation are perhaps more aware and more in touch with the sustainability pledge, and actually probably more open to change. I'd be more surprised, to see older generation boaters, looking to buy, because they're sometimes a little bit more resistant to change and more resistant to recognise that this is a problem in the here and now and not something that we can just ignore. We have to deal with it head on.
No, it's really interesting you say that. I mean, I was at the British Motor Yacht Show this year, and I had a stand there with the Alva yachts, and I was there, of course, and surrounded by the big brands of the Fairline, the Princess, the Sunseeker, the Azimuths, and Sandler, and the Blue Games, etc., which was great, and they have some fantastic products. But a lot of the feedback from the older kind of generation coming through was that, we see that this is going to happen, and for the next boat, we would seriously consider going electric. Now, I don't know if they're just saying it to make you happy, but I think there was some genuine level there of, I'm now driving an electric car. I'm now getting I'm using solar panels on my house. Why not use that technology when I go boating? I did really feel the change. It might take a number of years to get there. But indeed, I think the kind of tech entrepreneur kind of clientele, they definitely are more open-minded to this new technology because they live it with it and they breathe it day to day already. So for them, it's nothing new. But if you've been boating for a number of generations, it's a big change, and it's scary.
Yeah. It is, but I think it's only because as humans, our behaviours, we are scared of the unknown, and slowly but surely it's becoming less of an unknown. So, I think it will become less scary, for the manufacturers and for the clients buying the boats.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think if we can have a boat ready on the water, which of course we think we're delivering the second Alva already next month, and the new 60 is going to be ready, early to mid next year. And I've got a list of just hundreds of people who want to go on that boat and experience what's like solar electric. They can't even imagine it. So for them, it's a real excitement. And I had a lot of customers who come to me and say, we're going to hold off until we're going to go on your boat and we're going to see what it's like. before we make a decision. So I think they're open to the change, but they need to be convinced it's the right quality product and has a performance that they're looking for. But they also need to have a little bit change of mindset, because these solar electric boats are not going to cruise at 20 to 23 knots. That's not what it's about. They'll cruise happily at, 7 to 9 knots and still have a decent top speed in the mid-teens kind of thing. It's just a different way of boating. It's a more relaxing way, enjoying it with the family and cruising long distance. These are long distance transatlantic vessels. It's truly amazing technology.
Yeah, it sounds it. So you touched on it a little bit there. But if we take the company sort of one at a time, what's the vision for Alva in 2023? So the short-term vision for them.
2023 is going to be a very, very exciting year for Alva, because they're going to have the Ocean Eco 60 and the Ocean Eco 90 ready in the water for people to see, to touch, to feel, to sea trial and to experience. So we'll be at boat shows where they can experience these amazing yachts. And I think it's going to be another kind of catapult to the next level. Alva are very much focused on providing a premium product, really high quality, being very open with the customers and transparent and great communication to make sure that they know exactly what's happening and hold their hand along the journey. And we have some amazing support from our customers. So it's really exciting. And we're really truly fulfilling dreams. This is people who've been working very hard, and they're using their hard-earned money to buy something that they want to enjoy a long time. So we have a real duty of care to make sure that we provide them with an amazing product that they can really enjoy and kind of says what it does, And so that's really exciting. That's really exciting.
Yeah. So you're kind of like, you're giving them a product, you're giving them a boat, your customers, but you're almost, you're connecting with them emotionally. When you talk about, fulfilling their dreams, you're almost sort of gifting them a lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's something that people I speak to. It's really come to a point where they've worked very hard their lives, and they come to a position where they can afford something like this. And to quite a few customers I've spoken to, there's a deeper meaning to it. It's not just buying a boat and spending time with family. Some of them want to use the vessel for research purposes. Some want to use it for following their ancestors' trips that they had in 200 years ago. So it's not just about buying a product. It's about fulfilling a kind of a way of life, a dream, a passion that they have been waiting for. And that's hugely exciting to be part of it, and it has a big responsibility as well.
So it's not just a transaction to you, is it?
No, not at all. And I think that buying a boat is not like buying a car and you hand over the keys and I'll see you next year. You keep a relationship with these people, and you work with them through the build and through their requirements, and we try to bespoke the boats as much as we can to their needs, so it's their home on the water, and that's really fulfilling, because you can see this means a lot to them. It's a lot more than just purchasing a boat. So not become too sentimental about it, of course, at the same time, because it's still a commercial operation, and these guys are doing a great job. But I think the way Alva are doing it is they are being very genuine, they're being transparent, ethical, and they really truly want to build a beautiful boat for these customers, and they're doing it. We've got 6 boats in build at the moment, and making good progress despite challenging economic market and challenging supply chain situation, of course, as we all know. And there's still, uncertainties in the market, of course, as we know at the moment as well. So it's hard to kind of, for everybody, for all boat manufacturers to fulfill all the things that they need to do. But they're doing a great job. And equally the same thing with Myla Yacht. I think these guys are also really onto a winner to make a real change in the market. And they're being very brave about it. But the reception from the customers, from the media, and from the general kind of boating industry has been extremely positive on this. So I really want to thank everybody who's been there to support me through that, because it's without them I couldn't have done it. It's amazing. Yeah,
no, absolutely. So with the companies that you're involved in, I mean, like you've said yourself, you're so involved in them, you believe in their brand. It's more than just someone coming in and sort of a cold advisory role. You're really immersing yourselves in them. At what point in their business journey do you step back and say, I've made some business change, I've got you on your way and it's time for me to step back? Or do you just see yourselves always being involved?
Well, the whole purpose, I think, of when I set up the business was to get into a position when they really needed my help to set up the business, to help them with commercial strategy, to build the dealer network, to get the sales kind of tools and processes right, and then to step back a little bit, let somebody else then take it over on a more permanent level, and then for me to move on to the next brand. I think that's still kind of the aim of the business I have and what I want to do, but it's very hard to let go when you have that close relationship. So I think I will always be involved with companies like Alva and of course Milo, we're just starting the journey there. And to what capacity, we have to see, of course, but I'm really enjoying being part of that right now. And the problem, of course, is that if you're being successful, you're doing well, you have more opportunity. So the next question I had is, how I'm going to build the rest of my business and what's that going to look like. And right now, I do not know that yet. I am thoroughly enjoying, being really part of Alva and Mylan and some of the other brands I've been looking after, and I can see myself continuing with that. So there's a little bit.
I love the fact that
I need to sort out.
Yeah, I love the fact that although that you've obviously got ambitious growth plans, that you're not just thinking, what's next, how do I grow? You're actually kind of really enjoying the present and what you're doing at the moment with the brands that you've got, rather than, you're not rushing it. You're not rushing that growth or, rushing, moving on to the next thing. You're just enjoying the here and now and the present with Alva and Myla.
Yeah, because because I still feel that there's a lot of work to be done. And still in a growth phase. And so, if I would look at exiting, it would have to be at the right moment. But right now, my commitment to both brands are still definitely for the medium, if not the long term. I just then got to see, do I keep on building the business to have more people on board who can then help other businesses as well? So I guess that's kind of going through my kind of thought process at the moment. And it's exciting ideas, but 2023 looks already very busy with lots to do.
Doesn't it just?
I must admit, after doing 3 months of boat shows, I look forward to finishing things off in November and December, and then taking a well-deserved break and spend some time with the family, and then really be fresh for next year to head on to the next boat Dusseldorf and whatever other shows we're going to do again, and fulfill of course the orders that we have at the moment. So, but exciting times ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, in the position that you're in, is there any sort of standout moments? Because I guess when you feel sort of proud of something or sort of pride in your achievements, you're kind of one step removed, because do you then feel proud of the company's achievements that you're advising, or is there anything that do you still feel proud of yourself?
Yeah, for me, it's not so much about me. I'm happy when somebody else succeeds, and if the company succeeds, then they will succeed, and I will, have the benefit, of course, of that. I'm not too much interested in being the limelight in that sense, but I think that, being able to say, I came into this business, I've been through them a number of period of time, years, and look at where they are now. That gives me the most satisfaction. I think. Being able to be part of that journey, that's really exciting. Yeah, and
I can imagine.
Thinking of where I was as somebody who was employed with one business towards where I'm now, that I can add so much more value to multiple businesses. It just feels a lot more rewarding, and I'm also a happier person as a consequence. So I think that's only good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I know that obviously it must have been quite a scary time to have made that jump. But I mean, I guess you've kind of answered the question, because my next question was going to be, knowing what you know now, would you have still done it? But it sounds like absolute no-brainer.
It is now, but then there was moments where I was really going, is this the right decision? And, I was in the middle of 2002, we were doing a heavy lockdown. You keep on thinking, right, what am I doing? Is this right? But, I made the jump. I wouldn't have done it without my family. They supported me. And then, really putting in the hard work and working with fantastic people in the industry, it shows that great things can be done. And, and there have been moments when I was scared, and there was moments when I had doubt and all that kind of thing. But, persistency and the hard work and determination made it happen. And some great people to work with, of course. So, it's good.
Yeah, and sometimes, the decisions you make that offer the highest reward, they're always the ones with the highest risk, aren't they? They're never the easy decisions, they're never the safe decisions. But, like you say, with hard work, the rewards will come.
Yeah. And obviously you're going to put in sometimes even more effort because you want to succeed and it's your business and it's your way of living and earning a living as well. But like I say, if you do well, and for me it was really important to be ethical and transparent in what I do and be, and really have those kind of values into the business, which for me was a key point as well. So, and I think I really, more than clients, I've created friends that I can now continue to grow with as such. And I think there's a real mutual respect. And that takes time, but I must thank, people in the media and who've helped me as well along the way. And some great people who I worked with who suggested me to clients and things like that. That's the best, of course, endorsement you're going to get. So with all those people, they know who they are. I would say a big thank you because I wouldn't be here where I'm now. But I'm looking to repay that in the future. And at the same time, awesome. One thing I do enjoy as well, if I can get new talent to come into the business and look at sustainability and things like that, is something also I love to promote.
Brilliant. So on to some quick fire questions. I mean, I've loved hearing about your journey, but on to some quick fire questions with a quick round of would you rather. So you mentioned having some bit of downtime, sort of November, December, spending it with your family before a busy 2023. So if you could go anywhere for that downtime and that holiday, would you rather go to a countryside cottage or a beachside villa?
I would say countryside cottage with the dogs, open fireplace. Good food, family. That sounds good to me.
That sounds like the dream. I would take that right now. That sounds great. Okay, and this is a bit of a harsh one because I feel like I'm asking you to choose between your children. But if you had to buy one to use personally, would you buy a Mila or an Alva?
Obviously, I would love to have both. There's actually no doubt about it because they're both.
That would be great as well. They complement each other.
Yeah, because you can have one, and one is a house on the water, and one is an amazing fast powerboat. So you can use them both. Yeah. But the dream is that we come to a position where actually I can buy a boat and live on it for a longer period of time with the family. So that's something that's already in plan at the moment. And so it would be a liveaboard type situation. And so a Mila an Alva would be great for that because of course you have the space as a catamaran and it's like a home on the water. So that's definitely in the plan to maybe somewhere next kind of 2 or 3 years to have something like that I can enjoy. But also powerboat sounds very exciting. With the Mila, we're planning to do what's called a poker run, which is like a fast run in the US between certain locations. It's a kind of common thing with powerboats, and it's really exciting. So how exciting would it be to be with a hybrid electric powerboat among all those big kind of cigarettes and MTIs and midnight expresses to be there and join them in a poker run. So that's probably also a bucket list thing that hopefully next year we can achieve, because the boat is currently.
That sounds amazing.
And hopefully the boat is ready pretty soon, and so we can bring it to the US and do that, and of course show it at show. So really living that. So yeah. Some exciting things.
Yeah, that was a bit of a cruel question from me, but you answered it very fairly. I don't think you upset anyone there.
No, I try to keep all my children happy. But yeah.
Awesome. And the final question, which is the question we ask everybody. What one quote do you strive to live by, or that inspires you every day?
One quote that would inspire me every day. I think for me, it's when I left Fairline and I started my business. For me, it was a laptop and a dream, and I think that is something that I would say. Anything is possible if you put your head to it and you have the position to do it. So it's a big jump to make, and it's very scary as well. But I would definitely say if you have the opportunity. Go for it. You have one life, make it happen.
I love that. Such a positive way to end the show. Well, thank you so much for your time, Dennis. I've really appreciated our chat. And, your journey has just been incredible, and I'm so excited for 2023.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate the time. Great talking to you all. Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
I really hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, then it would be awesome if you could leave a rating or a review. Don't forget to subscribe so you can listen to us again. See you soon.